Good evening, everyone. As you heard, I'm Ann Moore, the chairman of Time Inc. We have, over the last decade, rarely, as you know, given the podium at this summit to a man. When we do, he's got to be a leader who's comfortable living, listening, and leading with strong, smart women. Our speaker tonight should be commended for populating his administration with powerful women, 4 cabinet secretaries in Labor, Homeland Security, Health and Human Services, and State, 2 cabinet-level officers at the EPA and the UN, and his only 2 appointments to the Supreme Court. I think he's earned the podium tonight. It's my great honor to present to you the 44th President of the United States.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hey, Billy. Good to see you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Please, please, have a seat. Thank you. Well, I am just thrilled to be here tonight with some of the most brilliant, accomplished, influential women in this country. As Michelle Obama's husband, I feel very much at home. I have 3 tall, good-looking, strong-willed women. That's just on the 2nd floor. Then I've got my mother-in-law on the 3rd floor. So it's a thrill to be here. I want to thank Ann for that kind and brief introduction, and for her extraordinary leadership. And I want to thank all the people who helped to organize this spectacular event. And I'm especially pleased to see the young people who are here. We are thrilled to have you. I also see that my friend Warren Buffett is here. I understand that even though he is a man, he has been invited back year after year because he knows that the surest path to success is to surround yourself with brilliant women. He's a smart guy. I happen to share that belief, and I'm pleased to see some of the extraordinary women in my administration who are also here tonight, because I rely on their wise advice every single day, and I'm tremendously grateful for their service. But being here isn't just meaningful to me as president. It's also meaningful to me personally. As some of you know, I was raised in part by my grandmother. She just passed away a couple of years ago. When I was born, she got a job as a secretary to help provide for our family. Now, she only had a high school education. She had grown up in a generation where women weren't necessarily encouraged to pursue a college degree, and certainly not after they had gotten married and had had a child. But she had an incredible mind and sound judgment. And so over the years, she worked her way up, without a college degree, just a high school degree, to become one of the first woman bank vice presidents in the state of Hawaii. And that was an amazing accomplishment, but that position was also her glass ceiling. For nearly 2 decades, she watched as men no more qualified than she was, in fact, usually men who she had trained, would get promoted up the corporate ladder ahead of her. Now, I know that if given the chance, she would have run that bank better than anybody. But she never got that opportunity. And she never complained. She hardly ever took a vacation. She just kept getting up and giving her best every single day. So tonight, I'm inspired to be with so many women who have reached the pinnacles of their professions. That's a credit to all of you and your individual drive and fortitude, because I know you've overcome plenty of obstacles of your own. And while we still have a ways to go, it's also a testament to the progress that we've made as a country, certainly since my grandmother was a young woman. The 75 young leaders who are here tonight are another testament to that progress. Because, as you know, these young women went through a citywide selection process to attend this event. And on their applications, they were asked to list their career aspirations. And I've got a list of what they said. See, we've got cultural anthropologist. That's a good choice. My mother was an anthropologist, so thumbs up on that. Classical singer. U.S. Senator. Where there's some people who say, like, oh, I don't know. Professional race car driver. One stated that she intends to become the next Bill Gates. I don't know why Buffett was skipped over, but another wrote environmental scientist and work on ways to find new fuel resources. Important. And one, this is my favorite. One said, doctor, lawyer, and an engineer. This young lady said, I know this is ambitious, but not impossible. So when we talk about the theme of this year's conference, building a legacy, that's exactly what we're talking about. That's what's at stake. That's that spark, that passion, all those ambitions and aspirations expressed by these young people. And the question is, what are we doing to nurture that promise? How do we ensure that 10 or 20 or 30 years from now, these young women will be sitting where all of you are sitting tonight with their own mentees, passing the torch to a next generation? What are we doing to build a dynamic, competitive, opportunity-rich economy so that they have successful lives and careers of their own? Now, as some of our nation's top business leaders, nonprofit leaders, and leaders in so many different fields, the answers to these questions are going to be largely determined by you. Because part of the competitiveness of America's economy, the richness of its cultural life, it's always depended on the innovation and enterprise of American businesses and American institutions and organizations, on the products you develop and the jobs you create and the growth that you drive. Now, this doesn't relieve government of its responsibility to create the conditions for businesses to succeed. That's what government does best. Those things that no individual or business will do on their own, but that create an environment where everybody can compete. So that means funding the basic research that drives new discoveries and sparks new industries. It means upgrading our infrastructure, including things like high-speed rail and internet, so that you can get your products and services to your customers. It means promoting exports, because the more our businesses export, the more they produce, and the more jobs they create. And it means making sure that our people have what it takes to actually do those jobs. That's what we've been discussing during your conference today, and it's what I'd like to focus on tonight. Because you know, as I do, that our businesses, our institutions, our economy cannot compete unless our workforce can compete. Unless we harness the potential of every American and ensure that their skills match up to the work of the future. And that starts with education, especially in fields like science and technology and engineering and math. We cannot sustain, whoops, was that my, oh, goodness. That's all right. All of you know who I am. But I'm sure there's somebody back there that's really nervous right now. Don't you think? They're sweating bullets back there right now. Where were we? We cannot sustain high-tech, high-wage jobs here in America when our young people are lagging far behind competitors around the world. That's one of the reasons we launched a national competition called Race to the Top, designed to raise standards in our schools. And it's based on a simple idea. Instead of just funding the status quo, we're only going to invest in reform. And with the help of business leaders like Ursula Burns, the CEO of Xerox, we've created a new partnership called Change the Equation, which is a coalition of more than 100 CEOs from our nation's largest companies who've committed to bringing innovative math and science programs to at least 100 high-need communities over the course of the next year. And it includes a special focus on girls, who are often underrepresented in our scientific fields. And I know, by the way, from talking to Malia and Sasha, it's just a matter of giving them a little bit of confidence, and they will thrive and succeed in math and science. But somebody's got to be there to say to them, you know what, you can do this. We also know that in today's economy, every American will need more than a high school diploma. And back when I took office, I set a goal. By 2020, America will once again have the highest proportion of college graduates in the world. And that's why we've increased student aid and tuition tax credits, and we've eliminated tens of billions of dollars in wasteful subsidies, and we're now using that money to make college more affordable to millions of students. We've made historic investments in community colleges, which are a pathway to opportunity, not just for children of so many working families, but for millions of women returning to the workforce or who are raising children of their own and so need some flexibility in terms of a course of study and advancing careers. And just yesterday, we launched a new initiative called Skills for America's Future to connect students looking for jobs with businesses looking to hire. And the idea is very simple. Businesses and community colleges work together to match the curricula in the classroom with the needs of the boardroom. And companies then hire the graduates who show up on their first day with precisely the skills that you need and that they need to succeed. We've already got businesses from PG&E to United Technologies to the Gap who are supporting this initiative, as have business leaders like my friend who is helping to spearhead this, Penny Pritzker, and the Aspen Institute's Walter Isaacson. So we want to get these partnerships going in all 50 states, and I hope that companies that are represented here all decide to be a part of this program. Now, let's not forget that most of your businesses did not start out as national or multinational corporations. They began as tiny startups, dreamed up in garages and around kitchen tables by folks who were willing to take a chance on an idea. So when we're talking about building a more competitive workforce, that doesn't just mean developing more competitive workers. It also means developing more competitive entrepreneurs. It means helping them translate those good ideas into successful businesses that create jobs and strengthen our economy. And as any entrepreneur will tell you, one of the biggest roadblocks they face is access to capital. It turns out that's particularly true for women. A recent study by the Kauffman Foundation found that women high-tech entrepreneurs raised nearly 70% less capital when starting their firms than men did. For all we know, one of those women could have the idea for the next Google or Apple or HP. But that doesn't mean much if she can't get the cash to bring the idea to market. So Teresa